welcome to your Pilates studio. This is another beginner session for you, this time starting standing. We are going to be using a mat though halfway through the session, so make sure you have one available. So when we first start doing Pilates, we want to be able to focus on three main things: our ABC, our alignment, our breathing and our core activation. So working on alignment first, we want to have our feet hip distance apart. So as we glance down, our knees are underneath our hips and our ankles are underneath our knees. We're going to be soft through the knees, and then we're going to start to think about a piece of string coming from our bottom all the way up through the spine, lifting out the crown of the head and up towards the ceiling. So as we do that, we're going to lift the rib cage away from the hips, arms stay relaxed. We're going to have a nice length through the back of the neck. So we want the chin just nodding slightly so that it's not reaching or crushing the chest. So lovely length through the back of the neck. Think about that piece of string pulling you up through the crown of your head. Try and maintain that if you can. And with nice soft knees, we're going to start to tip and tilt the pelvis. So from the side, we tuck the tailbone under and then we take it out and behind. And we want to imagine our pelvis like it's a big bucket of water. So we're tipping a little bit of water out the front and then we're tipping a little bit of water out the back. And we're going to do that a couple of times until we find a midpoint between those two where the water's going to stay nice and flat across the top. So we're going to hold there. We're going to take our hands onto our rib cage and we're going to start to think about the breath. So we've got our alignment through the spine. We're going to think about the breathing now. So as we inhale through the nose, we're going to push the ribs out, separating the hands, separating the fingertips. And as we exhale, the fingertips come back together in front of you. So we come in through the nose, full and wide into the ribs, the fingertips separate, and then we exhale. The fingertips are going to come back. So we're going to carry on that breath, inhaling through the nose, full and wide out into the ribs, exhaling out through the mouth. We want to try to avoid taking the breath down into the tummy because that's going to interfere with our core connection in a moment. So we want to breathe wide rather than deep. We're going to try and maintain this breath all the way through the session. I'll give gentle reminders and we'll always come back to it in the stretching. So if you do lose it, don't worry. We'll always find this lovely full wide breath again. Relax the arms by your sides. We're going to now think about that core connection. So we've got the A, the alignment. We've got the B, the breathing. Now it's that core. So we're going to think about that hip to belt coming across the hip bones, down across the lower abdominals. We're going to come all the way in through the nose. But before you exhale, you're going to draw that belt in as tight as it'll go. Pull everything in. You can't breathe over that. So as you exhale, gently release that belt completely. And again, we come in through the nose. But this time, just pull that belt in halfway. Then release the breath, release that belt again. Still a bit too strong to maintain. And again, in through the nose. But this time, just pull that belt in a third of the way. So if we're working with a 10-notch belt, you want to go just to the third notch. And that's the one we should be able to hold on to. So we should be able to keep that breath, keep that belt, as we breathe out over the top. And we want to try and maintain that belt just to that third notch. That's enough to stabilize and support your spine, but it's not so strong that you can't move or breathe over it. So we're going to keep that there as we warm up. We're just going to start by inhaling, taking the shoulders up to the ears, exhaling, dropping them down. And again, inhaling up, exhaling down. And exhale. One more, inhaling up. Exhaling down. Now let's make the movement bigger. Let's roll those shoulders. As you're rolling the shoulders, just do a quick check on your ABC. Are you still reaching the crown of the head up towards the ceiling? Are you still breathing full and wide in through the nose, out through the mouth? And have you still got that belt done up just to the third notch? We're going to need all of those things as we start to add a little bit more to the movement. So we're going to float the arms all the way up in front, and then we're going to sweep them out and wide. So we keep the shoulders down here, try not to let them creep up with the arms, sweeping them out and wide, carrying that on, floating up on the in-breath, wide on the out-breath. And exhale. We're going to do one more like this, then we're going to add some heel lifts to the movement. So we open and wide. This time lifting the heels when you lift the arms. So inhaling, crown of the head reaches up to the ceiling as you come up onto those toes. Inhaling up. Exhaling as you take the arms wide. And inhaling. Crown of the head reaches up towards the ceiling. Gentle connection through that core. So just third of the notch on that belt. Inhaling and exhaling. One more. Inhaling, coming up. Exhaling and around. This time we're reaching the hand down towards the knee. Gently pulling in that belt so that you can come back up. Keeping that connection as best you can as you reach down. And then coming back up. We're going to gradually make the movement bigger. So starting to lift that trailing hand. And then back. And the same to this side. This time taking that trailing arm all the way up. And then all the way down. So keeping that ABC going. Keeping the length through the spine. This time we take the hand up. Reach it over. Deepen that stretch. Coming back. Same to the other side. Arm comes up. Over and stretch. And then back. Crossing the arms across the chest. We're going to keep the hip bones facing the front. So using that core connection now to keep the pelvis nice and still so that we can rotate through the upper spine. So we're going to rotate one way and then come back to center. Let's use the breath. Exhaling as we twist. Inhaling as we return. So think about the crown of the head lifting up. That will help lengthen the spine and make it easier to do this rotation. Like say your hip bones stay facing the front the whole time. Good, a couple more times. Twist and return. Length through the spine and return. One more time to each side. Twist and back. Last time. Rotate and then coming back. Relaxing the arms. We're going to bend through the knees, slide the legs down the thighs. I'll turn to the side so you can see. We're going to do a standing cat-cow. So on the out breath, we're going to tuck the tailbone under, push the spine up towards the ceiling. And then as we inhale, we lift the tailbone, lift the head. And exhaling, tucking the tailbone, tucking the head. Inhaling as we lift the tailbone and head. Good, two more. Exhale and inhale. Last time, exhale and inhale. This time going into a cat stretch, staying in that cat stretch as you reach the hands towards the floor, drawing in that belt to support you as you slowly rebuild your spine. All the way back up. We roll the shoulders at the top, crown of the head reaches back up towards the ceiling, making sure that connection's there. A little bit of balance work here. So we're going to stay soft through the knees. We're going to float one knee up, heel lifts off the floor, we come right up onto that toe, and then slowly place it back down again. Lift the other heel, float onto the toe, and back down. We're going to gradually make this bigger. So we're going to float the heel this time, see if we can lift the toe just a little way off the floor, place it back down, and switch sides. So lengthen the spine, crown of the head up. Keep that breathing full and wide in through the nose, out through the mouth. Keep that lower abdominal connected. We're going to start to make the movement bigger again after this. If you can, you're going to lift the heel and then float the knee all the way up. Bring it down. We're going to slowly switch sides, same as the other side. Keep the movement slow and controlled so you're not using momentum. You can think about your ABC as you do this. We're going to start to add the opposite arm. So as the knee comes up, we're going to float the arm up. So we float the arm, take the knee up, and then slowly back down. Now if it's too much lifting the knee, maybe just stay at a lower level. You can just lift the heel. As long as the toe gets really light and you can feel a little bit of balance on that stationary leg. Okay, you don't need to come all the way up if it's not comfortable for you. You can build into that as you get stronger through your core. Lift and down. Lifting up, crown of the head reaching to the ceiling. And down. We're going to do one more to each side, floating up, exhaling down. Last time. Lovely, coming down. We're going to bring both arms out in front. I'll show you this one from the side. Lifting up through the crown of the head so we're nice and tall. We're going to take one hand, take it up, brush it past the ear, and then turn towards it as it reaches behind us. Notice that my hip bones are still facing the front. I'm going to skim the hand all the way around, over my leg and back, switching sides. The hand lifts up, look towards it as it goes behind you, comes all the way down and around. So it's like someone has cemented you from the waist below. Nothing moves apart from the upper back and shoulders. So using that core connection to keep your pelvis and hips nice and still. Keep that going. Shoulder down away from the ear. Try not to end up here. Twist towards it as it goes behind you. And down, need to come forwards a bit. Lift up, rotate, and down. So working through that core to keep the pelvis still. Lengthening the spine up towards the ceiling, so crown of the head reaching up. Piece of string pulling you nice and tall. We're going to do one more to either side after this one. And last time, rotate. Sorry if you can hear that snoring, that's my cat. Lift. He's asleep behind the camera. He usually joins me for my sessions, if you've seen the sessions where he comes with me. Bring the arms down to your side, shake out the arms. We're going to be coming down to the floor here. So come onto your mat. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. We're going to be rolling down. So we start nice and tall. Keep that connection in the lower abdominals. Then we nod the chin, roll the shoulders, almost like you're folding in on yourself. You don't want to push your bottom out. So keep that tailbone down towards the floor. You're going to curl all the way down through the spine. You're going to let the crown of the head pull you forwards at the bottom so you completely hang. Then you're going to draw in those lower abdominals. We're going to rebuild the spine back up again. So slowly coming back up. If you need to, if the back is very sore or tight, walk your hands up your legs to support you. Tailbone keeps pointing towards the floor. Don't let it push out behind. Roll the shoulders at the top. Come nice and tall. We're going to do that one more time. Nodding the chin, rolling the shoulders. Curling down, all the way to the floor, crown of the head leaning, reaching towards the floor, Drawing your belt one last time, coming up. Tucking the head, tucking the tailbone under. Rebuilding the spine all the way, nice and tall at the top. This time we're going to come to the mat and stay there. So nod the chin, roll the shoulders. Remember, keep the tailbone pointing down. This time when you get to the floor, you can bend through the knees. And we're going to come onto the mat. When you get down to the mat, we're going to come out onto all fours. So we're going to have our wrists under our shoulders, our knees under our hips. We're going to slide the shoulders away from the ears and just rock the pelvis. So we're working on that A, that alignment first. So we tip and tilt the tailbone. And then we settle on a midpoint. So we don't want the back hunching, but equally we don't want it dropping towards the floor. So find that midpoint where you've got a soft arch through the lower back. You're not letting the tummy hang. And that's where we're going to stay. So keeping the shoulders down, keeping the head in line with the spine. Try not to let it droop forwards. We're going to pull in our belts to help stabilise and support that position. And then we're going to keep our breath coming in through the nose and out through the mouth. On an out breath, we're going to slide one leg out behind us. And then we're going to inhale, draw it back in underneath. We want to keep as still as possible through our back as we do this. So try to imagine there's a very full tray of drinks balanced on your back. If you move at all, you're going to spill them. Exhaling as you lengthen. Inhaling as you come back. Switching sides each time. We're going to do two more. Lengthen. And back in. Exhale and inhale. Last time, exhaling and inhaling. Last time, check your shoulders are down, Your head's still in line with the spine. We've got that nice arch through the lower back, but we're not letting it drop too low. And that core connection. We're going to tuck the toes from here. And on an out breath, we're going to hover the knees ever so slightly off the mat. So it's not a big lift. So as you exhale, you're going to lift. As you inhale, you're going to lower. Exhaling as you lift. Inhaling as you lower. Now what you don't want to do is lift and hunch everything. All right? Keep the shoulders down. Keep the lower back nicely in neutral. Inhale as we come down. Neutral is what we say when we want to keep that spine in that nice alignment. We say it's neutral when it's nicely aligned. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. 2 more. Exhale as you lift. Inhale as you lower. Last time, lift. And then lower. Untuck the toes here. You're going to drop back onto your heels. Walk your hands forwards. Spread them out nice and wide. Take some nice big breaths, pushing the breath out behind you. Into the upper back. Exhaling as you release that breath. Out through the mouth with the breath. In through the nose. Take your right hand, you're going to place it on top of your left. If you can't get it that far, just get as close as you can. Again, take some nice big breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Take that hand back to the side. Now we're going to move the left hand over as close to the right as you can, on top if possible. And again, nice big breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. From there, come back to the centre and slowly bend your elbows in, pull your arms down beside you. Take a big breath in, make sure you're connected in those lower abdominals. We're going to uncurl the spine and then we're going to slide out onto our sides. Have the arm underneath you. If that's not comfortable for your shoulder, just grab a cushion, but we're going to lengthen the legs away here. So we want to make sure we're lined up with the front of the mat, so we're nice and long and straight. Feet, knees and thighs are in alignment. Okay, we're going to make sure that we push that top hip away, so we've got a little lift in the underneath waist. If we let it drop down to the floor, we've got a sort of an arch through the spine as we lie here. So when we push that top hip away, the spine comes back into alignment. We're going to draw in those lower abdominals to keep us in this position, and we're going to lengthen that top leg away and float it up just to hip height. From here, we're going to lift and lower. It's a small movement. You don't want to lift up too high because it will start to make you drop that waist back to the mat. So a little lift and lower. Keep this shoulder down away from the ear. Keep that connection in the lower abdominals to stop you moving around in the waist. Lift and lower. Keeping that breath going in through the nose, out through the mouth. Try and look straight ahead of you rather than down. We're going to do 10 and 9. Remember, the leg doesn't go any lower than your hip. Don't take it all the way back to the other one. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that leg down now. We're going to roll onto our tummies and take our arms wide of the mat. So we're bringing them into like an E shape with our head being the middle of the E. So our elbows are level with the shoulders, our palms are flat to the floor. We're going to rest our forehead on the mat. So we want to do our alignment here. So here we want to tip the tailbone down towards the feet like we did when we were standing. So we lift the tummy a little bit off the mat, but more importantly, we lift the back a little bit so that it comes back to that nice alignment. We're not arching the back as we push the tummy into the mat. So just lift the tummy up and connect through that belt to help hold that position and slide your shoulders away from the ears. From here, we're going to exhale and lift the chest up off the mat. We're going to inhale at the top, and then we're going to exhale as we lower back down. So what you don't want to do here is push your tummy in as you lift your upper back. Okay, you want to try and keep your tummy a little bit hollowed out, your lower back nice and still, and ask the upper back to extend and come back. Exhaling as you lift, inhaling as you lower. So keeping that connection through your lower abdominals, that belt pulled into your third notch. We're going to do 4 more. Lengthen and then release. Remember, it's an out breath to lift, an in breath to hold, and then an out breath to lower. And this one is great for posture correction, so great for correcting those rounded shoulders we get. We're hunching over desks or phones, asking the upper back to extend and open out again. Last ones. Exhale. Inhale to hold. Exhale as you come down. Bring the fingertips under the forehead. Just rock the hips gently from side to side. From there, bring your hands under your shoulders. Gently push up onto all 4. Just do a little cat-cow stretch here. So tuck the tailbone, tuck the head. Drop the head and tailbone down as you push the spine up. And then release, lowering the tummy, lifting the head and tailbone. One more time. Exhale, tuck the head, tuck the tailbone. And then release. Leave your bottom over your knees. Walk your hands forward from here so you come into a puppy stretch. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, make sure you're connected through your lower abdominals, so that belt pulled in as you walk the hands back towards you. We're going to sit back on the heels, sweep the legs round so we can come down onto our sides facing this way. So again, arm is underneath you or a cushion, lengthening your legs out so that you're nice and straight, lined up with the front of the mat. From here, just push that top hip away so you've got a little gap in that underneath waist. But more importantly, the spine is lined up. We're going to draw in those belts to keep us nice and still. And then on the out breath, lift that leg up to hip height. Imagine someone's pulling you by the ankle, pulling that leg away. And then you're going to lift and lower. Keep the vision in front of you. Don't let it drop down. So looking straight ahead, lifting up and just going back to hip height. Remember, no movement through the pelvis. Just the leg lifting and lowering. This shoulder stays down away from the ear. Keep that connection in the lower abdominals to help keep everything nice and still, apart from the moving leg. We're going to do 10 from here. Check your alignment, check your breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. 1, come down, pull that knee in. Give that top leg a little rub. We're going to bend both knees here. We're going to roll onto our back. So gently pulling the knees up towards the ceiling. Bring yourself to the center of your mat. We're going to have the feet and knees hip distance apart. So the heels are in line with the sitting bones, the knees are lined up with the hip bones. Arms are down by your side, but we're going to walk them down to your heels and then turn your palms towards you, up towards the ceiling so you're nice and open across the chest. We're going to drop the rib cage down and then flex and arch that lower back like we did standing. Find that midpoint and we're going to settle there so the back is neutral or nicely aligned. Draw in those belts to hold this position, okay? A little nod through the chin so there's length in the back of the neck. We're going to slide the right leg out and away without any movement in the pelvis. So we're going to lengthen, We're going to roll the foot outwards. We're going to draw the heel back towards your bottom, and then you're going to bring the knee up towards the ceiling. Same with the other side. You lengthen the leg away, roll the foot outwards, bring the heel to bottom, and then bring the knee to ceiling. So I want you to imagine I've filled your belly button with water and you can't spill it. That's going to help you keep the pelvis nice and still as you do this. Lengthening. Make sure the other knee stays nice and still as the other leg moves. Roll out and back. Couple more to either side. Lengthen. Roll the knee out and back. We're going to start to add the opposite arm now. So you lengthen the arm away with the leg. Roll the foot out. Heel to bottom. Leg comes back up as the arm comes back over. So you lengthen the arm and leg. Roll the foot and knee outwards. Pull the heel to bottom. And then as the knee comes towards the ceiling, you bring the arm back. Good. So keep an eye on your ABC. Check that your alignment through your spine isn't changing. You're not flexing or arching the spine. You're not lifting the rib cage up. You're breathing nice and full and wide into the rib cage. And that core connection is staying there. So ABC is always our focus, our alignment, our breathing, and our core connection. Good, a couple more. Lengthen. Lengthen away. Rib cage stays down. I'm going to do one more to either side after this one. So thinking about that little bit of water in your belly button is going to help you with your alignment, making sure the pelvis doesn't move. So the last one. Good. From there, sliding the arms out to your sides, palms facing the ceiling. We're going to do some hip rolls. So you're going to allow both knees to drop down to the left as you look over to the right. And then you're going to pull the knees back. Find that alignment through the centre. So little lift through the lower back. Not flattening it into the mat, but not arching it. And then the knees go down the other way. Come down and then draw them back to centre. So as you do this, make sure that core stays connected. Third notch on your belt. That's going to help you move the knees from side to side, keeping the back nice and still from the shoulder blades up. So you want your shoulder blades in contact with the floor the whole time. Use the breath. Exhaling as the knees go down. Inhaling as they come back up. Last couple of times. Coming back to the centre this time, placing your hands down beside you. We're going to slowly push up to seated. However is comfortable for you, so legs crossed or straight out in front. We're going to inhale, lift the hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale as we release. And again, inhaling up. Exhaling, release. This time as you inhale, lifting the left hand, taking it all the way over for a stretch, making sure that left hip stays fixed to the floor, and then coming back. Same to the other side. Inhale, exhale, and we're taking a breath there, and lifting back. Roll the shoulders, and thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed your second beginner session.